right. It's good to have everybody on today. If you would, go ahead and please like and share this video. We are excited to be here on this last Thursday in May 2020. It's unbelievable how fast the year is going. It's crazy. All right, come on in, everybody. Let's like and join. If you would, go ahead and like this post and share it with those that you know need to hear some insight on business strategies, entrepreneurialism, and how we can better make an impact in our local communities and in the marketplace. So I want you guys to go ahead, please like and share. Thank you guys for these several weeks that I have been live. Each and every week it has been exciting to get feedback from you on the information that's been provided. So I want you to come on in. All right, we're here live, and I just want to continue to impart some knowledge and wisdom from a lot of my experiences and the things I've gone through in business, and I hope you can glean from it today. So go ahead right now, go ahead, like and share. I'll throw the little symbol up there for you. So you go ahead, like and share. All right, let somebody else know that Michael D. Young is on live, and we're talking about business strategies. All right, for small businesses, we want to make a significant impact in our Black and brown communities. You know, it's sad what has occurred recently in Minnesota. Our prayers go out to the Floyd family. Our prayers go out to the gentleman that was up north that was the police was called on him, and just by being in the park bird watching. Like, it's a lot going on around our country, and we definitely need prayer, and prayers for our community, prayers for our government. And I believe it's a call for action and a call for us to rise up. So for many of us that do not know how to speak up and utilize our voice, use your voice through your wallet. Yeah. Like, be specific on where you spend your money. You know, if people are not supporting you and supporting your community, don't spend with them. So just keep that in mind and continue to enlighten yourself about who really has your back. I talk about that in all of my episodes. It's important to go and do business with those that care about you, those that love you, those that will advocate for you. So today, without further further ado, we're going to get into our episode today. And so I want to start off with a Bible verse. And today's Bible verse, it reads as follows from James, the 5th chapter, verse 1 through 4. This is in the NIV version. You know, I'm a pastor, so I have to give, a positive message, inspiration of hope from the scriptures. It says, "Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have hoarded wealth in the last days." So everybody that's hoarding toilet tissue. Uh-oh. Verse 4. "Look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who have mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty." It's really important, guys, to recognize that as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we must treat our employees right. Those that work for us, those that labor for us, we have to make sure that we do our best to pay them fair wages, to make sure they have a good work environment. And that's really important, not just ethically, but as believers, The Bible tells us to do this. So I believe it's really important for us to follow the word of God and stay mindful of that. That we do not want to choke the harvest by muzzling the ox that's plowing for us, as the scripture says. We want to make sure we're taking care of those that's helping us in our business. Never lose sight of that. Never devalue your employees. Never devalue those that are helping you attain your goals. And you maybe go home one day and like, man, this person is not really helping me. Well, you need to get rid of them. You need to let them go. And maybe they need to do something else where they can thrive and be in their passion. But always take care of your people. All right. So we're going to keep on going today. I have a nice lineup of discussion. We're going to talk about policies and procedures, a little bit about human resources, and then I have a special treat for you guys today. Uh, this man of God and his daughter, they have been participating in Boss Moves over the past several weeks, and they graced me by allowing me to bring them on today. So we'll hear a little bit later from them, Glenn Jones and Jalinda Jones from Insure Financial Group. And so your life is going to be blessed and changed by the conversation and dialogue we're going to have about protecting your business. Okay, so but before we get into that, I want to bring a couple things to your attention. First of all, my book reference. You can see it on the screen. It's an excellent book. The author is actually local to Orlando. So I want you to check this book out. This will greatly assist you when it comes to human resources, asset protection, when you start looking at what are my risks within my business in regards to workers' comp, general liability insurance, all those types of things. Because listen, you can lose money all types of ways, but one way you don't want to lose it is by not having insurance. Okay, so accidents waiting to happen, right? So best practices and workers' comp administration and protecting corporate profitability. So I want you guys to check that book out. Make sure you get it and add it to your catalog, and make sure you read it and implement many of the things that are written therein. All right, so today we're going to talk about processes and procedures. Every company should have a written process map of the following: their company life cycle, procedure steps for task and department specific tasks. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of what that is, all right, in a second. Detailed procedures with expectations. That's really important. So I'm going to unpack that for a little bit. So when we're talking about a written process map for your company life cycle, what does that mean? So if someone comes to your company for the very first time, they need to know, how does the entire process flow from start to finish? So for instance, I have a construction business. So what is my life cycle? Where does the process start and where does the process finish? Okay, so my starting process is basically getting a client or getting a project and then going through the phases of the project. So one phase is called pre-construction. That's where we're putting the pricing together. That's where we're putting estimates together. I have to receive subcontractor quotes for work that we do not perform ourselves. So I'll have to reach out to our subcontractors, meaning my electrician, my plumber, get pricing and put it all together. And that process is called pre-construction. We analyze the schedule, how long it's going to take to do the project. We look at all the risks associated with the project. We looked at any local laws that may influence how we do the project. You know, there are city laws, there are state laws, and we have to investigate all that. So we do all of that prior to starting the work. So that's all during pre-construction. So we go from maybe a marketing business development phase to a pre-construction phase to a construction phase. That's when we actually start the work. So, starting the project, I may have a checklist of all the things we would do before we start the project. And so we continue on through that phase, and then we have what's called post construction. There are closeout documents, warranties, and all these different things that we have to provide to the client. And once we have post construction, then what? We may have internal discussion about, hey, how did the project go? Was there any issues with some best practices? And then we implement that on the next project. So that's my entire company life cycle. All right. So basically, we go through a cycle of how we do business, how we produce revenue. So I want you to think about that for your business, because this is important for those you're going to train on a managerial level. So for those that you want to move through management into an executive position, they need to understand the entire life cycle of your company. All right, so that's one process map. The next one, you want to break down each department. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have business development and marketing. You want to break down those procedures. So if I'm trying to reach out to a particular client, let's say I'm trying to do business with Darden restaurants. Well, what is my cycle, or what are my procedures in order to do business with that particular client if I've never done a project or worked with them before? So I actually document my steps. So for those of you, you have it all up here in your mind. I want you to start writing these things down. And it may take months to document all of this, but it's very important, because something we've said in the past, and we keep saying it over and over again, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. Can you sell your business today? Right? So everything I've been talking about during Boss Moves is totally incorporating things that allow you to sell your business today. Okay, I hope you guys got it. So the procedures for each department, the procedures for each task. So if there's something I need to do in regards to, let's say I want to become a minority certified business, what are the steps for that? So if anyone else is hired to work in my company, they can see, okay, here are the procedures for this. Because what I find commonly amongst our businesses is that we may hire someone, they're great, they come and do a great job, they know what to do, they've learned how to do it, and then something happens, whether they leave, they quit, we had to terminate them for whatever reason, and all that information is lost. And now we lost time and money because all of that information was with the person and it wasn't documented. So the better we document these things, the better off we'll be, and the more value you actually place within your business. All right. So I want to go back to the slide. I hope you guys understand that we're talking about detailed procedures for each department, and not only that, indicate the expectations. Okay, so that's really important. You can't think that people are going to know what's in your mind and your thoughts. You have to write down those expectations. That's really important. All right. The next slide I have, I want to show you guys an example. It's not pulling up. Let's see if we can get this again. I want to show you guys an example of a policy and procedures manual. And it's really important that you have this for your company. You said that's pretty known, but what I found, most small businesses don't have a policy and procedures company. So this is the cover of mine. It hasn't been updated in probably a couple years, but we went through several editions. You can see we're in the 5th edition. And so every time we have major changes to the policy manual, we update it and we issue it to our employees. I'm going to just kind of show you a breakdown of what's all in our policy and procedures manual. So this is specific to each employee. So once you hire someone, you're going to give them this policy and procedure manual, which will walk them through the organization. So as you see, I have an introduction. So talk about history, we talk about the things that are important to the company. I'm going to show you an example of that. Section 2 is employment. 3, operations and workplace standards. 4, conduct and relations. 5, compensation. That's always important. People want to know how they're going to get paid. 6, associate benefits, right? They want to know, what are my benefits for working here. Section 7, any policies. That's really important now. So when people take your information, do you have a policy written around that? Okay, separation. So when there's a termination event, how do you go about that? All right. Do you have a travel and entertainment policy? So that's separate that we've included in here. A company vehicle policy. So I have fleet trucks, and I have a policy written around that. So anyone that has this policy, they know if you drive a company truck, these are the policy, the standards and procedures for it. And also work from home policy. So that became very critical a few years ago when we started having people work outside of our local office. And people were working remotely. So what were the time constraints for them working? You know, if they weren't clocking in at 8 o'clock and clocking out at 5, then what were the expectations? That should be very clear. All right. So then we had acknowledgement pages for people to sign and agree that they understood each and every policy. So I'm going to put this up again. A part of the manual had an introduction. You can see it included our mission statement, our vision statement, our core values, our key offerings. This told people what we did, or what we do rather. Our top 20 of how we do it. You know, there's some best practices. And then the marketplaces that we perform work. So I provide all the information so any employee, once they are brought on, they can easily go through this and understand everything that we do. Okay? And so we talk about in-depthly each and every procedure. You know, if you're going to be terminated, what's the procedure for that? We have a termination exit interview. All that's important. We talk about sexual harassment, racial harassment, reporting it. You know, we also talk about a drug and alcohol abuse statement. You know, that's really important. One thing I want to get to, I'm going to click through it real quickly. I even provided a work attire example in our manual. So this is how you should dress, you know, for men and women. There were examples. So, of course, my wife, Dr. Felicia, helped me put this together. You know, I'm not well versed in all this stuff, but she helped us put this together because there was time we was having trouble with people coming and dressing however they wanted. So we had to create the standard that we desired. So then we also recognized the people in the office often dress different than the people in the field. So we gave them specific instructions. And then as we attempted to really brand the company, then we said, okay, we're going to now minimize colors and all these different types of things. So now you can see we had something else. All of this is in our policy manual. You know, for those that are in the field working, you know, our PPE, our personal protection equipment, all the things that they had to have, we provided a list of all those things. So I thought that was really important. I want you to start thinking about these things and maybe how you need to implement it within your company and in your manuals, right? Your work hours, office work hours, project job site work hours, office lunches. You know, some people thought they can come and take lunch whenever they want. That may be fine for you. Whatever it is, you need to have it in writing. All right, so there are clear expectations so your employees don't think they can do certain things when you have a different expectation. Okay, that's really important to be clear. Another thing, I'll put it back on the screen, even recording time. So we were using something called Zenefits to record time and make sure people were managing their hours. And so this became our timesheet that we utilized. My wife implemented this system because she was handling all our HR. And so it's important to show people exactly what you expect. All right. So when you come in with issues like overtime. What's the difference between being an exempt employee or non-exempt employee, right? Some salary employees do not get overtime. So you need to be clear about that. You need to be clear about when the pay period starts and when the pay period ends. What days are payday? You know, all of that should be very clear. Also, our PTO, personal time off. I can't tell you, we probably edited this policy manual at least 4 times just for this reason, because people will always question their time off. And so we got it down to a system, and it was very clear how much time people got off. So as you progress with the companies, certain years, year 2, you go getting 40 hours uh, of PTO, and that's outside of sick time and all that. You know, year 3, 4, and 5, you're getting 2 weeks of vacation. You know, year 6 and above, you're getting 3 weeks of vacation. So you just want to be very clear about all of that information. Another thing that I find that a lot of small businesses leave out is holidays. Like, what are your holidays? You know, that's really important to talk about, you know, so people are not guessing. Are we off today or not off today? Something else that came up often was, you know, each year, the day that maybe Christmas, the day after Christmas, New Year's, or the day after New Year's, it always changes whether it's during the week or it's on the weekend. So let's just say you normally work Monday through Friday, but that holiday is on the weekend. Do they still get that holiday off? So that's always a question. So it needs to be clear in your policy manual. Are they going to be off the following day of the next week if it's on the weekend? So everything should be very clear and in writing. I put another thing on here that shows you your benefits. If you don't have benefits, you need to state that up front. If you do, it needs to state very clearly in your policy manual. So you can see on mine's medical, dental, vision, simple RA, we had all that information we provided. And then you can see at the bottom where I start with the holidays that we included. And so there was always a list. So there was never a question of what was being provided for. Okay? My wife created this short sheet of what we were utilizing at the time to give a new hire. So we would just take this directly out of our policy manual and say, hey, boom, here it goes, our company benefits. You know, and so we had an allowance towards healthcare, vision, dental, and life, and boom, it's right there. You can see what it is. We offer supplemental insurance that was employee paid, which was AFLAC and Prudential. And then what I did a couple years ago, I provided up to 2 sessions of employer paid counseling. So we were utilizing total life counseling and providing 2 sessions for our employees for that. That's really important. So as you start to compete in the marketplace, you'll find yourself having to provide benefits for your employees. Now, when you first start out, you may not be able to provide all of that because of the expenses, but you want to go ahead and try to set up your company to provide those benefits because you're competing against other companies and you want the best of the best, right? If you want a great employee, you want to make sure you're able to compete in the marketplace with benefits as well. All right, so just think about that. Hopefully that helps some of you guys figure out what you may have missing in your business and what you need to implement. Okay, so if you have any questions on that, go ahead, put them in the comments. What I will do, because of the time I have today, I'll come back and answer your questions towards the end of our live session today. All right, so I just want to say thank you guys for continuing to join, continue to like and share our session today. I have special guests today that are coming on, and I really appreciate their time. I actually received a couple of my life insurance policies through this financial group, and it's really important. I just want to say this: the earlier you can get life insurance, the better, because it gets more expensive the older you get. And in my case, I had been diagnosed with diabetes, so that makes it harder to write, meaning it's harder to get a policy. So we were able to finally get a policy written through Insure Financial Group, and Glenn was like, "Mike, just get as much as you can afford to get, because you don't know if you may not qualify again. So once you get it, it's important to keep it." So listen, if I can't pay anything else, I'm paying my life insurance premium. So I just want to share that information with you guys and let you know the importance of it. Get it early. Don't let it lapse. Keep paying on it and get the right policy for you. So I'm gonna bring Glenn and Jalinda on, and I'm gonna have them talk to us a little bit more about policies and those different things and what vehicles they have available. Okay, so you guys just sit back as I get ready to bring them on. All right. Hey there, Glenn. Can you guys hear me over there?
Yes, we can.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it's good to have you guys on. Hopefully, you've been able to tune in to some of the things I've talked about so far. I just want to say thank you for. I don't even remember how we met. I think it was a networking event that you guys attended, or someone was attending. You guys found out about ACY.
It was a trade show in
Yeah,
Orlando. I forget the name of the trade show, but it was there where a lot of vendors were there, and you were one of the contractor vendors there.
right. And you came in, and I think I even told you I was. Sorry about that. People like to call me right in the middle of my lies. But I was, I think I was telling you at the time, I was working with another financial advisor, but we could not get a policy written for me. So at the time, my A1C was still running a little high than what the insurance company would write. And we finally got it down, and your company was able to provide a couple policies for me and my business. And so once you maybe enlighten the people about the vehicles you guys were able to get for me, and maybe how that could help other small businesses.
Well, I really appreciate again, Mike, for the opportunity to be a part of your boss move. Like I said, I love the concept and the idea. Like, where'd you get that title? That was really popping,
Yeah.
boss move, and it's just good to see it done right here. It's something that I think our community needs. I would say, in my terminology, worse than a dead man needs a grave. We need this kind of
Mm,
exhortation and direction in our business model to kind of better provide ourselves a more excellent business in the marketplace, that we're being competitive with all other companies that are offering the very same and similar like product or services that we're offering. So kudos to you and your team there at ACY. You've been talking about a few things, succession planning. You talked about your business and key man, key person insurance. And a lot of business owners are not informed or educated the value that that has in a business. And so it's
mm,
something that we're doing. It's something that many professional business owners have done is key person executive bonus. That what if something happens to you today or tomorrow, unforeseen? How would the business continue? How would it continue to without your leadership and your knowledge and your experience and your background? And what would it cost to replace you
right.
for that business to be what we consider in business terms an ongoing concern? So the business is managed with a quality set of leadership. You're a visionary. You started the business, and so what it takes to replace you. So that's not a cheap thing because you can't. How do you put value, enough value on what you know? As you were just screaming about the policy manuals and the ABCs and the one, two, threes of the policy manual structure, that knowledge came from your business experience and saying, hey, this is how our culture is, this is how we're structured. What does it take to replace that material, that knowledge, and that language that was cultivated into that? So at the end of the day, we need some income replacement to do that. So key person insurance and executive bonus type plans is what you use to say, hey, if you transition, here's up to $1 million or $2 million or $3 million based on what I would say a business evaluation. Now, this is something that we've integrated to help people to get to an even more accurate number. You said this earlier about what is your business worth if you sold it today? Okay, well, we're offering to assist business to do a business evaluation. There's normally a cost of that, but our cost of that is very minimum to get with the CPAs, the tax attorney, and the attorneys to do a business valuation of your business. So for those people who are like situated as where you are in the level in the years that you have a business, we can offer them a business evaluation. And from that is a tool that we're designing to say, okay, key person executive bonus. Now we know to the numbers how much would it cost to replace Mike.
Right. Right.
Now we
And
know.
so let me ask you something with that, Glenn, because we have a lot of small businesses, and realize most small businesses are doing revenues under $1 million.
Mhm.
So at what point do you think it makes sense to get a key man policy? Meaning, if I'm only doing $100,000 a year, do I need a key man policy? Because I talk about the difference of having a hobby and a real business.
Yes.
So I guess maybe for those that are listening, can they have an idea of when they really, really should consider implementing a key man policy?
Oh, absolutely. I always say yesterday. Okay. Simply
Mm-hmm.
because of the factor that you mentioned earlier. Will you qualify? Health changes throughout the years. We don't, for whatever reason, our health, the older we get, the more challenging it is to qualify. And it's not like homeowners and car insurance. You just have to be able to pay for it. You
Mm-hmm.
have to qualify physically. So the sooner the greater. Now, the structural way which comes into play then is that going to be done in a fashion of term and whole life, or is it going to be a blend? So we already know the term programs that we can use the term policy to do that, and it's going to cost you a lot less. And so you can get a large term policy with the period of 15, 20, or 30 years. So later, if you want to convert some of it into a whole, which is smart, and we'll get to that, yes, you want to qualify and get as much as you can get now, because and the question is, from where you are today and how many years you've been in the business, did you expect at this point to be at the level of success that you are?
Right. Of course. Of course.
And so, in terms of the, maybe you started out doing 100,000 or 200 or $300,000 in business volume, but 5 years in, somehow the dam broke, and now you're doing 2 million through 2.3 million. And okay, can I go back and qualify for that? And so that's why we say,
Great
hey,
point.
it's encourageable to get as much
Great
as you
point.
can up front for the future that you're gonna grow. And
Great
now,
point.
and so that can be done in a fashion also that one of the things that, and you can speak to this too, that often when you're growing your business, you need to span, you need to go in computers, you may have to do payroll or adjustments and different things that you need to do, and you need access to cash. Then one of the sweet spots about the policy can be leveraged is the cash value in the whole life, which is
Mm-hmm.
really sweet because now to expand the business, we ran into a spot where boom, we had to replace all our computers. Like, why are they slowing down? Why are they this slow? We just bought them 2 or 3 years ago, but the software companies are making new software that demands that you have faster CPUs on your computer. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to upgrade every 3 to 5 years. Well, that when you have 10 or 15 computers, that's a big undertaking for many small businesses that are expanding. So where do you get
Right.
that? Do you go in debt? Do you get credit and put it on debt? No, you just pull the cash out the whole life policy, pay for it, and pay yourself back while you're earning interest. So your policy serves you as a business leverage to help meet those little expenditures or some of the investment things you need to expand. And that's why it is critical to get as much as you can and put more in the whole life portions as you can. It gives you these options that you expanding and growing your money tax free, having access without any penalties before age 59 and a half, like 401ks and those other strategic items that you do. This one here, no penalties. You can access it and it can generate your income.
Wow. So, that's pretty awesome. I think for me, when I had partners initially in the business, we had entertained getting a key man policy. And I think it's really, really important. Like, it's important, but really, really important when you are in a partnership. Because at some point in time, if someone passes or dies or whatever, then that family member potentially is now trying to look, hey, how do I get my ownership, or I want to get paid out, or I don't want to have any involvement with the business. So the company is trying to figure out, how do I pay out this ownership to this deceased family, and now you're in a predicament. So I think for those that are in partnerships, it's really, really important. And as you said, Glenn, something I didn't recognize, just getting something as soon as possible is really
Yeah.
important. Because
Well,
because for the longest I put it off,
mhm.
and it became a personal issue more than just a business issue. It's
well,
like, okay, I need to protect my family.
yes, and Mike, I think what happens in traditional in our communities, and a lot of people who are uninformed about it, is we think it's just a plan in case we transition. Yes, if we transition, we do need it for that. But there are other purposes for the key man, or what we call executive bonus, or buy-sell agreement, which you're talking about when you have partners, that if you should transition, there's a buy-sell agreement that the policy is structured in such a way to pay out your spouse, and buy out your position and your equity in the company. So it's also treated as a buy-sell agreement that is structured on those bases. Executive bonus. Well, that's a good way in which we like to share with business owners, a competitive and a healthy way to, like you say, retain quality people by offering them additional benefit that make it attractive in what we call golden handcuffs, or even silver handcuffs, less
Right,
expensive. But golden handcuffs, they encourage them to stay with your business for a number of years so someone doesn't shop them away. Because how would that impact your business if you lost a very significant person who
right,
really has got a mastery of bringing in the type of contracts that make you grow and expand? Well, you definitely want to have a golden handcuffs and executive bonus or key person insurance that could be tied to the business and leave an asset to them at their tenure of working with you. And it's a sweet way to stockpile cash tax free. But to the business owner like yourself, that may be a C corporation and possibly a LLC pass through. Again, we have to talk to your attorneys and CPA based on your tax status of your business. But if you're a C corporation, how sweet is that? That you're offering a executive bonus, stockpiling cash as a retirement for that key person, as well as giving a death benefit should they die premature to their family tax free. But you're getting a tax deduction on those contributions. Yes, you get.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say, I know I have a good handful of entrepreneurs that I know are in partnerships, and they're looking at potentially tax shelters. And I think that's an excellent way to shelter some taxes. So instead of doing a payout, in a salary where you getting taxed 30 some percent, go ahead and put it into a policy, like you're talking about, and then tax shelter. These are things that people have been doing for decades. But our community, we didn't get the memo.
We didn't get what they call it, the quick tips and tricks. We didn't get the
Yeah,
quick tips and trick, and it was the best kept
yeah,
secret. They put it in some books, and we done read the book and heard the story. And that's something that, at Insure Financial Group, we're ecstatic to tell business owners today structurally, here's a competitive way for you to save for that retirement, have access to your cash without tax penalty, creating a tax deduction for the business. So it's a win-win situation for the business and the business employees is a comprehensive plan that is healthy. Um, I'm just ecstatic to bring that and to tell more business. Here's how you can do it on a small scale. Here's how you can do it on a large scale. But here's in the comprehension of it all. Here's a healthy way for you to kind of keep the cash flow available to you as you grow and keep quality people.
So you mean to tell me there are policies out there that you can still access the cash that you've put aside?
Absolutely. And that's what we're screaming on steroids because you don't want no slap on your hand that you say,
Right.
oh, we're at this point, we need some cash. And no, we got to go to the bank. And the bank want all these forms to look at your
Yep.
cash flow, your credit worthiness
Yeah.
and your credit risk. And they take it along. They want to think about it. And do they really like you? Do they have a relationship with you? Are you really shopping to be competitive with them? That do they need to offer you the very best deal when you can cut through the chase on all that drama and say,
That's
look,
awesome.
we've already created our own personal banking program. We got money. Check this out. Walt Disney World started Walt Disney World when he started it. He had a cash flow issue that he had filed bankruptcy and couldn't get it off the ground. But because his parents had created these whole life policies where they hid cash in there, hint, hint, secret, secret, shouldn't be telling everybody this. They hid cash in the whole life policy. He had enough cash in the whole life policy to start Walt Disney's World. Come on, breaker, breaker.
Mm. Wow.
Not only that, J.C. Penney, James Cash Penney, had there was a downturn in the market and J.C. Penney could not make payroll. They went to the banks. The bank wouldn't loan them money, which a lot of businesses say, hey, can we leverage this to make our payroll? Well, no. But they had the key person or executive bonus policies with all this cash in there, heavy laden with cash. They were able to make payroll out of those
That's
policies.
awesome. That's
Okay,
awesome. So if you out there listening, guys, I hope you contact Glenn and Jalinda and jump on this because this is very insightful, and I hope you really take advantage of this knowledge that they have. Listen, Glenn, before we get off, I just got to deal with the issue. You know, your beautiful daughter sitting there behind you, just smiling and stuff. But I could not let you guys go without you talking about this for a second. I've noticed that not only you have your daughter working in the business, but also your son is in the business. I think that's commendable, man. Listen, congratulations. That is remarkable. And maybe talk about some thoughts or things that you did to maybe encourage them in the business. And then I want to hear from Jalinda.
yeah, I'm glad you said this. It's a humbling experience to have my daughter, my son, my eldest son, and my youngest son, and my wife are part of the business. And I guess, from having your wife in the business too, that's also on steroids as we know it. But humbly for my children who have come to join, it was mind blowing that they did choose to do this because Jelena, after graduating from FAMU summa cum laude with her MBA in business, she had
Woo.
the option to work with. Yeah, she's got her mama jeans going strong. She had the opportunity to work with GE, the Fortune 500 company, and she was going with them. But she decided to come with us, and I'm like, why? Well, she said upon her master, she had already gotten a company card from us, paid for it like she had with GE, and she liked that the company was able to do that. And she talked to here her professors who couldn't scale this type of business, but she saw that she can be my succession plan, which is another part of the business evaluation leading to succession planning, that she can bring the wealth of her knowledge to our agency and be the succession plan for it to be a legacy to our family for generations. I'll let her chime in at this time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't so much my dad like asking me to come, but me thinking, okay, I grind. My dad, I could see he's a hard worker, and he taught me to be the same way in my brothers. And so when I was considering whether I wanted to go and grind at GE Strategic Accounts in Cleveland, Ohio, I'm like, I could take this same grind, put it in my family business, and own it one day. And I see the
Mm.
boss in me, so I wanted to go ahead and do that and build it up for my family because this is what we're starting to hear more of: generational wealth, building that legacy and that foundation for our future and our future families. So for me, it just was like 2020. I know I'm going to have to grind, but the reward is going to be so sweet if I'm going to have something to call my own, that my children's children will have a choice to work for us, work for themselves versus having to interview and kind of,
Yes.
compromise in a way.
Listen,
Yeah.
that is so powerful. I don't think you guys realize how powerful a revelation that is, and that I hope it inspires somebody else that's listening to this, that that's the only way we really build our communities, keep money in our communities, and continue to sustain our growth. And it's really important. So thank you guys for being a great example, and I'm looking forward to all the things that God's going to do through your business. And I hope for everyone that's out there listening that you all reach out to Glenn and to Linda. Their numbers on the screen. Ensure Financial Group. They've helped me, and I'm sure they'll help you. You guys want to say any last parting words before
Yes,
we end the session today?
I would like to, Mike, being that you are a preacher and I'm a preacher too, and preachers do what preachers do.
Yes,
Give
sir.
the word. The word does say to us, and this is what I saw in my heartbeat: a wise man leaves an inheritance to his
Mm-hmm.
children and his children's children. There's two ways to do that I know that makes dollars and cents. That is through the whole life and the key person insurances or the whole life policies, and that is through transferring the wealth of this business. And the Bible also says, as we know, train the children up in the way that they
Mm-hmm.
should go, that when they grow old, they will not depart. So, from a biblical perspective and a ministerial, God has set forth us as Joseph and as kings in the faith, to transfer the posterity to our people. And he said, Joseph, for this purpose were you called to create the posterity and the perpetualism of that posterity to generations to come. So we got that from a biblical standpoint, that we're trying to create posterity and prosperity for generations to come. Delinda.
Amen.
That was awesome, man. Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank you so much, and I'll catch up with you all right after the episode. All right. Thank you
All
for
right.
coming
Thank you.
on. God bless you all. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, listen, family. Let me just tell you guys that the information that was just provided to you was worth money all by itself. And I hope you guys take the time to reach out to Glenn and Jalinda and just find out the options, the vehicles they have available for you. Because it's a wealth of knowledge over there. And trust me, we need to better position ourselves and our children for success. And it starts with you making the decision today to say, you know what, I'm going to set my business up in the place that it's going to be better and it's going to be strong. I don't care where you are right now. You don't know where it's going to be 5 years from now. So go ahead and position yourself now for greatness. Go ahead and position your children now for wealth and generation wealth. So we love you, family. Listen, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're getting ready to populate more videos. So this entire summer, as different sessions and interviews come about, I'm going to place them on YouTube. All right. So we won't have boss moves until the fall. All right. So we're going away from the summer. We're coming back on in the fall, but we will have interim episodes on my YouTube page. So I want you guys to go ahead and subscribe there. All right. We love you. If you have any questions at all, please drop them in my comments, and I'm going there to answer them now. And we just say thank you. All right. We love you. God bless you, and have a blessed weekend.